What up, my people? ¿Qué pasa, mi gente? Welcome, bienvenidos to another episode, otro episodio de Hoy en Día TV. It is another amazing, terrific Thursday, and we are here with you. Yes, praise God, we are here with you today. And as per usual, I'm bringing on my amazing co-hosts. We have the amazing entrepreneur, Nadine Barton, and we have Dr. CC, the Actionist, another amazing entrepreneur. They're both authors, and they both have so much to share. So welcome, lovelies. Bienvenidas a Hoy en Día TV.
Hola. Hey, everybody out there watching.
Oh, it's been a whole week since I've seen you. But, we communicate about, How are you?
It seems like forever. You ladies are looking beautiful and radiant as always.
You too. You too. The glasses, y'all. I got a pair of you guys know I really wear mine to see. I can't see, so I'm looking good with the glasses. Okay. Fashion.
Thank you. Yeah, these are my computer glasses because nowadays as we age gracefully, right? We're aging like fine wine. We got to protect our eyes, especially from all the computer and the blue light. So luckily, I don't know if y'all can see whether it's like a green or blue light reflector that helps with the vision. So for those out there who don't already know about this, it's important to test your eyesight, right? It's important to keep your eye health intact because you need your eyes to see, right? Yeah. And also, I highly recommend getting that blue light or green film, whatever is the proper name for it, to help with your eyes, especially from the lighting that's coming from, whether it be your cell phone or your laptop, your tablet, even watching TV, so.
You're absolutely right. I used to have one working from home, one of those blue lights when I used to work from home. And I actually broke it. I need to get another one. I'm actually wearing contacts. These are just stylish glasses. So I definitely, need to get another one of those blue lights because since we're on the computer every day, I'm on there every day actually doing things and stuff. So, and on a lot of Zoom calls, but you definitely need the blue light glasses to protect your eyes.
Yeah. And it's hard to find the, like the fluorescent light bulbs, like back in the day where the light was more indicative of or trying to mimic the sun, right? Because it was more kind of yellow, kind of warm. It was more dim. And it's hard to find those light bulbs. I say America's kind of trying to do away with them, but all that blue light, we look at it, it's white light, it's blue rays and stuff coming from that. So it tricks your brain into staying awake. And so sometimes that makes it difficult for people to sleep and stuff like that. And you're like, what's wrong? It's because of all of the blue light, so that's why, before you go to bed, try to have that 30-minute wind down where you're turning off things and so on and so forth, to try to, help your brain to now get into that circadian rhythm of let's go to sleep and not be on it all the time,
Well, I need that because as you guys know, I can't sleep at night, but you're probably talking about those fluorescent halogen bulbs because, I do have those big lights that I use for when I do my audition and monologues, but they basically they tell people that you're supposed to get those and it's like the big bulb and it's kind of like swirl. Those are the halogen bulbs, right? Those are the ones you're supposed to get.
It's just like a regular light bulb. It's just more yellow. There's more yellow to it. It's warmer, so it's more dim. It's not as bright as it has the ring lights and stuff. It's not that. It's kind of like the lights that you grew up with in your parents' home. Those are the kind of light bulbs that we need.
When I moved, CC, I had that dim light in my bedroom. And I think that's why my eyes got worse because I couldn't see. The light was so dim. Mm-hmm. I had to get different lights. It was so dim. I cannot use those dim lights.
Mm-hmm. I agree. But it is better for you. I mean, when you're doing your work, of course, you want to have proper lighting so you can see. But in my bedroom, I don't have the blue light bulbs or, the white, gives us off the LEDs. I don't have that. But in my ceiling and stuff, we got the recessed lighting. So it's all of that, I'll turn off that main light, just have my lamps on. So it's a little dimmer, kind of warmer.
My room, it has to be light. Let there be light.
But wait, we since we're talking about the whole eye health and just health overall, because this is our lifestyle conversation, just taking care of yourself in life. I heard about a couple of things that are important for us keeping in mind. So did y'all hear about the whole Girl Scout cookie controversy happening, where apparently a couple months ago there was a private study done where 25 girls were tested, and they detected levels of glyphosate, which is heavy metals, lead, arsenic, mercury, aluminum in those samples. Only 25 cookies were tested, and it was high levels of that. So that's a concern. So apparently a class action lawsuit was filed in 2025 against the Girl Scout cookies of the USA and their licensed bakers. And the lawsuit alleges that the cookies contain harmful levels of pesticides and heavy metals, and that the organization failed to disclose this information. So what are your thoughts about that? Because I used to like those coconut delights, but I'm concerned now because I'm not going to eat them no more.
Listen, those were my favorite. Every time I go to Walmart or the supermarket and they're out there, I'm buying Thin Mints and I'm buying coconut cookies. And now
I know the Samoas. Yeah, those are good. And the trefoils, the shortbread, I love those. And y'all, I was a Girl Scout. My family, my cousin, we were all Girl Scouts. I remember selling my cookies and earning my badges. Like I was too cute. I'm gonna have to put a picture up so y'all can see it. Yeah. So and my neighbors right across the street, they're Girl Scouts. And so I just walk right across the street and they're out there, and I buy so many cookies. I have not bought any this year. I'm not going to buy any this year. I'm not trying to avoid the kids because because they know I always buy. I'm like, no, I heard what's going on with all the stuff. I mean, all the food. I know all the food, but the majority, I would say 90% of the food is so poisoned, with so many chemicals. Like, we got to get a hold on this. What's going on with Kennedy in office, right? He's supposed to be making stuff happen. Okay. Like, what's up, man? Like, come on. You're supposed to be regulating the food. Like, we didn't vote you in, whatnot. Do your job. Like, help us with our food. I think we talked about this once before. Like, you got to make something happen, right? We got to get some of these poisons out of our food.
Exactly.
All the poisons.
All the poison, right? Even in the fast food. So I'm trying to figure out, how did that come about? Who decided to test the cookies and what happened? I'm trying to understand. Because when I came to visit, I walked across the street and bought cookies from your neighbor.
Right now, it just says a private study, so it is not disclosing who did it. So it sounds like it might have been a private company, but I'm sure more will come from that. But as a follow-up, I will say this, Cece, since you do have neighbors that they're, the kids participate in Girl Scout, maybe this will be an opportunity to open up that conversation to say, hey, are you aware of this, one? And two, have you all as parents, because you're putting your kids through this, trusting that everything is true, legit. Obviously, the quality from when you were a Girl Scout compared to today, 2026, has diminished and changed. What are they doing as parents to make sure that their kids are protected as well? Right? Because these kids are eating, I'm sure they're eating these cookies. And so it's one of those things where it's like, what are y'all doing as parents? Are you going to come together as advocates to say, hey, y'all need to provide some sort of information, because this is our kids' health and we're selling this to other people and that's their health too.
So this is what I just read, right? It said a 2025 class action lawsuit alleges that Girl Scout cookies contain trace amounts of pesticides, glyphosate, and heavy metals, lead, arsenic, mercury, cadmium, based on independent testing. While the suit claims these levels are concerning, experts note that detected trace amounts do not necessarily pose a health risk, constitute poisoning.
This is the language that really infuriates me, because whether it's a trace amount or a whole lot of it, that's problematic for me, because this stuff doesn't need to be in foods. You see what I'm saying? Like, why are we so debased in our thinking to think that any kind of toxin or poison in our, it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? It's just wrong on every level. I'm really excited about our guest that we're having on today, because like this is his mojo, right? But this is just wrong. And we as people, right? As just people, as society, y'all, we really gotta legislate and fight against this stuff and tell these big companies, like, no more. Enough is enough. Make real food. Let real food be. Okay, can we get some real food? But look, they gotta have all this fake stuff, because if they don't, then they're gonna lose money, because they gotta make us sick. Right, Big Pharma, hello, got to have some sick people out there, because if everybody's eating healthy, real food, nobody's going to be sick, because food is so healing for your body. You can heal your whole body with food. Right? You really, really can, y'all. You really can. So we want to put all this, they're all in bed together, and it's really sad. It's really, really sad. And it's just wicked. It's very wicked.
And that's why it's important for you to pray over your food every time you eat. I mean, just hopefully there's not
Absolutely.
poison in that food, even you pray over it, but you always have to pray over your food. Even your DoorDash food that you get delivered, pray over it. Your fast food before you stuff that fry down your throat when you get it through the window, pray over it.
Yes,
Tell us a
yes.
story about what you saw with DoorDash. Those two stories about somebody putting the shoe in one foot and to spray something with the other.
The big toes swimmer. They were doing, what is it? The Indian thing. What do they call it? The what do you call it? Because no. Like the Indians, they it's like the goop scoop. That's what it's called. Have you seen those videos? The goop scoop. Oh, look, I love the Indian food,
just by listening,
but I can't eat Indian food no more. I just can't. It's the goop scoop. Girl, look, they put the big toe, they rub the stuff on the armpit.
Oh, yeah.
They be doing the most.
I've seen those. Like they're street food,
meat.
right?
This guy got like a super long toe. Yes, he got a super long toenail. He's cutting meat with his toenail. Girl, it's too much going on. It's too much going on. And in India, like they worship the rats. The rats are like gods to them. So it's like rats in the restaurants, but it's good for them because that's like, oh, the gods, right? These deities, right? It's craziness. And the rats are everything. Yes. The more the better. The rat's just giving it some extra seasoning, some flavoring out there. You know what I'm saying? But look, I don't believe the Indian restaurants here in the US of A are doing that, okay? Because I love Indian food. It's very flavorful, the spices and all of that stuff. When I saw those videos and they talked about the goop scoop, I can't.
So let's talk about these DoorDash deliveries and all these things that I've seen on the internet. There are a lot since AI has been invented. Sometimes you look at it and you're like, what's real and what's not, So I look at these videos, and there was a guy that was videotaping this gentleman. I don't know if it was in California or what state it was. So he was in his window recording this guy, or wherever he was, maybe outside, I'm not sure. So the guy was sitting in his car with some food, like he took it out of a bag. It's like delivery food. So he took his shoes off and scraped some things off of his shoes onto the food. Then he rubbed his shoes over the food. And then the guy was like, when he noticed the guy, he paused. And the guy was like, yeah, I see you. You know I'm recording, right? And he said, are you delivering that to somebody? And he said, no, this is my food. This is my food. And then the guy got his license plate and he sped off. And then there's another young lady who was delivering somebody's DoorDash. She put the food down and she sprayed something on the food and then she walked away. I mean, I don't understand. When people come to my house, my video says like you are being recorded. So I'm not sure what kind of camera those people have, if it doesn't speak back or she didn't notice the camera. But I'm like, nowadays, 99% of America, they have cameras. So
right.
You notice the camera, or was that for clout? Was that a skit? I don't know what it was, but she sprayed something on the food and she walked away. There are numerous amount of videos. If you go on TikTok, you see these DoorDash messes and Uber Eats and there was another one. I think this was in the UK. I'm not sure. The lady was from England, but I'm not sure if she lived in the UK or not. She literally saw a guy, opened the bag, drink from the cup, ate some of the food, and brought it up to deliver. And she stepped out and she said, are you delivering that to somebody, or are you delivering the food? She confronted him and he make an argument like he didn't speak English or whatever the case was. But she said, I saw you. I got you on video. I've been recording you.
I love your accent.
And yes. So it's so many crazy things going on with the food, and it's scary. It's scary. Look, I'd rather eat my own food.
Look, to my real Indian people out there, okay, I love y'all, okay? So if you know about this goop scoop, right? Like, just help your fellow Americans out, okay? My Indian Americans out there, you know what I'm saying? Just help us out, okay? Put us on to the goop scoop. Let us know if that stuff that we're really watching is really, truly, indeed, like real stuff. It looked very, very, very real. And there was a gentleman that went over, actually, and it was like a test, and he was going to do the goop scoop, and he did do the goop scoop, and he was like severely ill. He had to go to the hospital and everything, and it was for him to like win money and stuff, and he got severely ill. So I don't know, but I'm saying, like, we love I love a lot of ethnic food, but I'm like, man, you just in anything, in any cuisine, you don't know what you're getting these days. And people just, yeah, something else.
Exactly. Now, sis, earlier you mentioned something very key about keeping, this big pharma keeping people sick. And so I found this link by Think Smart, Grow Rich. They have a large follower, and they're saying Pfizer has been in the business for 176 years and has not cured a single disease, not one, because they've made $100+ billion treating symptoms, managing conditions, preventing infections, but never actually curing anything. And this is why. So this is what happens. So this is all done on purpose, right? Because if you cure, you're going to eliminate that customer. But if you treat, that customer is going to continue to come back because you're only treating the symptom. You're putting a Band-Aid over it. You're not curing what's happening with the body, right? And so with that in mind, we already know how big pharma, well, most of us know, because a lot of them still say, oh, I got to take my medicine, my prescription, which I respect. But think about this. There's a company called Gilead who quietly created a cure for hepatitis C, a 12-week regimen that with a 95% success rate for this cure. But Pfizer didn't touch it. They presented this to Pfizer. Pfizer said, nope. Why? Because they're going to lose money, lose those customers. And so keeping that in mind, I know in the past we've talked about the importance of fasting, right? And even the Bible says fasting is important. And especially because a lot of the foods that we eat similar to our animals. Like I learned this from a vet, and she told me this. She was like, you do know that a lot of the medicines that we give the pets, they're human medicine, and the pets, they get parasites just like humans do. And that boggled my mind. But people are still in denial. People, I don't know why. But what are your thoughts about that?
I mean, if you're a company and you're in business to provide medicine to people, if people get healed, then there's no need for the medicine. So you're out of money. So in doing good business, right? I'm going to keep people sick. I'm only going to treat the symptoms. And that's what Western medicine is about. It's about treating the symptoms. Eastern medicine, not so much. Eastern medicine is about treating the whole person, right? A holistic approach. And that's why now in the US, right, in Western countries, right, we have a lot of more emerging holistic practitioners, internists, and things of that nature that looks at the whole person. Because normally when doctors and stuff are in med school, they're just getting the this track one, okay, and we're going to do all this on track one, but it's not about like the whole holistic part. So a lot of doctors, when those patients come in, good doctors that listen to their patients, right, they learn so much, right? And then typically I won't say most, but some do go back and they get extra education in those areas, right, to be able to help their patients, right? And so but for the US, it's just here to keep you sick, to keep you on medication, because again, like we said earlier, if you have real food without all of the poisons in them, your body can heal itself, right? Food is very healing. It's very therapeutic, and those types of things. But big pharma, I mean, think about it. If you're a pharmacy company and you're here to create these medicines and stuff, which give you more side effects, right? But then somebody comes along with the whole cure. You're like, man, you're threatening my business now. You're a threat. You do your SWOT analysis. You got your SWOT. Now this is a threat. We got to eliminate the threat. So, yeah.
Yep, good point. Good point. Nadine, I think you were going to say something with regard to that, and it looks like you're on mute.
Yeah, I was just before that, we're talking about the Goop Scoop. That's what I had to say. I dropped it in the group, but as far as the medicine, of course, we're never safe with medicine. You know what I mean? So we just have to go. I forgot the guest that we had that she was talking about the whole holistic thing. So we just have to think about going that route. Because technically they are claiming that there are quick cures out there for cancer. You could do the soursop leaves, you could put other things and so many different things. You just have to just keep doing your herbal things as you go, and stay away from all of the commercial stuff, the fast food and all these things that's not good for your body. I mean, I'm not gonna lie and be a hypocrite and say I don't eat fast food. I haven't had any in a while, but I'm trying to be more on that side of things, just to be more, on the holistic side,
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned the guests because we do have our guests patiently waiting behind the scenes. But before we get to our guests, we have a topic that TC you wanted to bring up with regards to May, and then we're going to take a quick sponsor break before we bring on our guests. So, spotlight on you, CC.
So PSA, fellow Americans, all right, on May 17th, you guys have probably heard about it, but there is going to be a rededication of America back to God. President Trump has announced it. And so this is going to take place on May 17th. So for all the believers out there, I just want to put out this call to action, right? Is that we pray, that we fast, that we intercede, and that we do call this country back to God, that we repent. I hope there will be a holy revival in the land, right? And revivals are happening and things are happening in our country and around the world. We just don't see it publicized on TV, but we do see those things. And so just pray that, the God that we are dedicating America back to is indeed Jesus Christ, the Holy Christ, right? Because America is a polytheistic society. We have many, many gods, and we were founded on Christian principles, and Christian principles deal specifically with Jesus Christ. So I'm excited for May 17th, being prayerful about May 17th, and hoping that we will begin to see a turn and a change, right, in our country and even for the world to be a better place.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm really glad to hear that. But my main thought with that is I really, I pray that he's doing this genuinely and not to cover himself because he's in the hot seat a lot with regards to the whole Epstein file situation. And so I wonder if this is a tactic for him to try to win back more people, right? Even though God knows it all, right? And so everything, was I saying, everything done in the dark comes to light. And so God knows his heart. And I really pray that this is a genuine attempt to really dedicate the country and not just a scheme or a ploy to try to win back people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wasn't he a whistleblower with Epstein? Because wasn't he like the whistleblower like on Epstein?
He's one of the main names that keep coming up that he was in cahoots with the whole Epstein. Like he was number one. Like I was looking because there's a documentary on Netflix and there's a lot of YouTube videos. I've been doing my research on the whole Epstein and Trump's name continues to pull up. Like he always said good things about Epstein and he's a good guy. And da, da, da. He's always seen in pictures with him and he was always this and that. And it's like, oh, okay. So yeah, for those who don't know, I highly encourage you to do your own research. Type in Trump and Epstein and a bunch of information is going to come up for you. So Nadine, were you going to say something?
No, I was about to say that he was just oblivious to what was going on back then with him. So
you think so though? Because they were close.
No, I'm that's what I'm saying. I'm asking, I'm being sarcastic.
Gotcha.
Well, see, because it's my understanding that everybody was upset with Trump because he was blue and that him and Epstein didn't have a harmonious relationship. But I don't know. I would definitely have to research a little bit more because I saw some different things. But yeah, I'll definitely check that out for sure. Yeah, and like I said, I hope it's genuine and sincere too. I absolutely do. Mm-hmm.
That's a good look. That's awesome. And as you were talking about that, I did notice that. Why this matters is the 250th anniversary of the U.S. independence. So 2026 marks the 250th year since the Declaration of Independence in 1776, which is a major milestone that has spurred celebrations and reflections on the nation's history. And so faith and public life discussion. So May 17th, that event is explicitly framed around religious faith and the country's founding principles, which has attracted attention because it intersects national identity, religion, and contemporary politics. So that's great. I'm glad you highlighted that. So before we bring on our special guest, we're going to go on a quick sponsor break. Don't go anywhere because Hoy en Día will be right back. Estamos de regreso. No te vayas.
At Cab Zenza, we believe beauty is a ritual, not just a routine. Rooted in intention and inspired by nature, our skincare is crafted to nourish more than just the skin. It nourishes the spirit. Every jar is made with purpose. Because when you flourish inside, it shows on the outside. Cab Zenza's isn't skincare, soul care.
From the moment that I put this Cab Zenza on my skin, it feels most amazing. As you can see, it has your skin glistening, it's moisturizing. You too should get Cab Zenza.
Luxurious body butters.
Are you looking for the perfect shirt for that special occasion? At Collective Custom Wear, we bring your vision to life. From weddings, family reunions, anniversaries, or casual outing with friends, express yourself with your unique style and leave a memorable mark. Order now. Our custom shirts are designed just for you.
A bold builder of people, purpose, and platforms, Girls with Gigs helps high performers and those desiring to achieve more shift mindsets and activate purpose. Whether it's career or leadership development, personal branding, or knowing your worth. In the job market, transformation has never been closer because this is where purpose meets action and dreams become destiny. Book your free consultation today at www.girlswithgigs.com.
Big shout out to our sponsors. Definitely give them some support between the body butter to keep your skin hydrated, finding your purpose, or just determining, hey, I have a large group, a family reunion, a wedding, reception, ceremony, bridal party. Get your custom shirts. So, hey, we here at Oyandia, we have an array of everything because we understand that that is what life is. Ups and downs, the good, the bad, all the shades of color of life and lifestyle. So, yes. All right, so let's transition over to our special guest who is patiently waiting behind the stage or behind the scenes for us. Cece, if you would please do us the honor to introduce our special guest.
Absolutely. So we are honored tonight to welcome Dr. Anthony Stroman, an award-winning educator, certified financial educator, health advocate, and community leader dedicated to transforming lives through prevention, education, and empowerment. Dr. Stroman has spent over 20 years equipping individuals, families, churches, and organizations with the tools they need to improve their health, strengthen their finances, and build generational impact. A recipient of the Spirit of Leadership Award and Community Impact, Dr. Stroman, right, he's totally passionate about helping people understand the power of hydration, wellness education, and financial literacy as pathways to freedom and longevity. As the founder of Stroman Enterprises and the leader behind global health initiatives, Dr. Stroman believes that prevention is the key to reversing chronic disease and restoring communities from the inside out. His mission is clear: educate, empower, and inspire people to live healthier and more abundant lives. Without further ado, let's welcome Dr. Stroman.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Welcome.
You know what, Cece, I forgot I had to say anything. I was just enjoying the conversation.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today, Dr. Stroman. We are truly, truly excited and thrilled to have you, especially because of the conversation. It has a great correlation to what you will be helping us talk about and deep dive in today. So first, I will say welcome again. And also, Cece wrote an amazing, robust bio, but in a nutshell, who do you say that you are?
I am an inspirational teacher. That's who I am. And I guess we can start off by talking about can you guys hear me pretty good? Everybody hear me pretty good?
Yes, we can hear you. Uh-huh.
Okay. Again, thank you very much. Yes, that's what I'm about. I'm an inspirational teacher. And I'm going to start off by talking about how all this came about. I'm a former banker. I've been in health education for about 20-something years. And I do remember when you're talking about praying about your purpose and why you're here on this planet, I remember just praying to God about what should I talk about, because I had a passion for health education and financial education at the same time. That's when he dropped in my spirit that he wants his people to be educated in both areas. Okay. With that, we started what we call the success triangle. And I'll briefly tell you about the success triangle in our conversation. It'll all come together. The success triangle is 3 pillars. The number one thing is mastering headquarters. That's that computer between your ears. I often say that nothing changes until your mind changes. Okay. So your thought life controls everything, as we all know, ladies. The second part of the triangle is taking care of your $1 billion temple. That was a big deal, because when you understand that you're walking around with a $1 billion temple, I don't have to really tell you not to eat the bad stuff that much. Over a period of time, your behavior will begin to shift because now you realize that God blessed me with $1 billion temple and $1 billion brain. The third area is finances. Now, this is pretty interesting because I'm going to break this down in a way why all this affects your health. Well, being in the banking industry for a while, working for financial companies for a while, I realized that that's one of the pivotal things when it comes to health, which is called financial stress. And right now, many of the primary care physicians that I talk to, because I work with a lot of holistic doctors, they're telling me that 90% of the visits are stress related because of money. So let me say it this way. When your thinking is not right, because we know our thoughts affect our bodies, our physical bodies are affected by our thoughts. Every thought that you think, you can poison your body just from thinking the incorrect thoughts, okay? Because they're all connected. It's an amazing thing that's happening now because the scientific world has caught up. You know, the Bible had it all covered all the time in the beginning. They begin to see the relationship of your thought life affecting your physical body. But then let's go to the financial part of the triangle. When people experience financial stress, we all know that breaks down your immune system, and we know the rest of the story. Many people are sick because of financial stress. So if we can educate people to master, you don't have to be an expert, this triangle out of 8 billion people in the world, you got to deal with how you think, how you take care of your physical body, and the finances. But think about it. If you're thinking correctly and your finances are intact, that's going to reduce a whole lot of health issues that people are experiencing. So that's what we call the success triangle. And what we do it in a panel type format. So I partner with many, many people around the country, holistic doctors, mental health experts, and financial experts. And we educate and we empower and we encourage. So we have panels with churches. Right now, goals to help 500 churches to be educated. When you think about 500 churches, that means that's thousands of people in communities to be educated. So that's kind of like the beginning of what this is all about that we're doing around the country. So with that being said, let me jump into some of the things that I picked up over the years. I'm also a certified hydration specialist. What does that mean? Well, 13 years ago, I was connected with a company. These are Christian companies, by the way. And I went to this particular school to become a certified hydration specialist, got the banner, the certificate, and all of that. And I learned so much about water, not just the regular. You ladies are very, very well spoken and you're educated, you know about this stuff, but people don't understand how powerful hydration really is. So for 13 years, I was speaking about the power of hydration. Okay. Now, all this is leading up to something, a specific thing I'm going to talk about. And so I would go into churches and I would do demonstrations about your water. And most of us know that tap water is not good for you. And most of us know that because the water the way it is, it can actually make you sick, right? So we know about alkaline water, we get that. But what I was exposed to was something very unique. It's called X2O, which is a little sachet, it's a little tea bag. And you can only find it one place near the Okinawa Island in Japan. So this little tea bag, when you drop it in your water, what it does, ladies, it cleans up the bad stuff in your water. It's recognized by the government as a filtration system, number one. Number two, it alkalines the water. But number three, what makes it very powerful is synergistic. It has 70 organic trace minerals. So this is not like regular alkaline water. This is another level. But it's so simple to use. And for 13 years of me teaching this, it is amazing just drinking that water, what happens to so many people's bodies and their health. So now here's what happened. So I was doing that for a long time. And then a friend of mine from New York, I'm originally from New York, many moons ago, he was following me because I do all these seminars in churches and stuff around the country about taking back our health. And he introduced something to me which was very, very enlightening to me. And I knew it was from God because the Lord woke me up 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, when he told me about the stem cell revolution that's taking place that many people don't know about, and that's going to be the main conversation today. And I realized that for the technology I'm going to talk about in the next few minutes, for it to work, your body has to be hydrated. So like 4 o'clock in the morning, it's like ding, ding, ding. I made the connection. So my assignment now is to educate millions of people about how hydration, and what I'm going to talk about is stem cells. But you ladies brought up some very interesting topics about the system. And let me touch on that just a little bit. And you ladies are absolutely correct. This is why we have to re-educate people, okay? And the most difficult project in the world is a reconstruction of the human mind. We all know the conditioning, decades of historical conditioning, that is the tough deal because you've been trained that way. And what I do when I talk to pastors and bishops, what have you, I let them know we have to re-educate our people, not beat them over the head, but they don't know. So you can pray, you can worship God, which is beautiful, but if you don't follow dietary laws based on the Bible, if you violate those laws, it's built into the system. So many people in the church that are experiencing epidemics of health issues is because they're spiritually, they got that down pat, which is wonderful, which is beautiful. But what I've learned, that many believers violate natural laws. So my thing is, I'm the equalizer. We need both. The spiritual side is the most important one, but we need both, because if you can be spiritually powerful, I'm gonna give an example about this, but if you violate the laws, it's built into the system. You don't break God's laws, they break you, okay? So what I'm trying to do with the body of Christ is to bridge both of these together to pay attention to with both of them, not just one. So let me give a quick story and we'll move on. It was this powerful woman of God who's a prayer warrior. And she would only sleep 1 to 2 hours. Now, if you're sleeping 1 to 2 hours, I don't care how much Bible you know, you're violating what? Natural laws. Now, a second mistake that happened to her, she had programmed in her mind that she would leave here at age 70. Now, you know how powerful that is when you tell yourself something like that, okay? Guess when she died? Around 70. So she actually violated 2 laws, natural laws and spiritual laws at the same time. I bring that story to bring it to light to let people know that we need to pay attention to both of them, even when people get healed, because all of us believe in healing. But if you don't teach them how to keep it, they'll go right back to the same lifestyle. Now, the challenge is the conditioning, because the media owns all this media, TV, radio, internet. They're constantly telling you it's okay to eat bad, drink bad, think bad, okay? Okay? You ladies already mentioned it. It's a profit-driven system. That's just the way it is. When you understand the beginning of medicine, Rockefellers and the Carnegies to control medicine, that's another topic for another time. It's almost like a mafia operation, but people are not aware of it. And so now what we want to do is make them aware of that, and then they can be the CEO of their home, but family, church, et cetera, et cetera. The good news is we're making a lot of progress around the world, okay, with this particular thing. But the challenge is the taste buds. Lord have mercy. I know it's hard. It's not easy. And that's why I encourage people to have an accountability partner, because here's a principle. People don't do what's expected, they do what's inspected. One more time, they don't do what's expected, they do what's inspected. So if you don't have the discipline, and it's a process, we all know that, ladies, you need to have an accountability partner, okay? Somebody to be with you to encourage you to stay in the game, even if you fall off the horse every once in a while. But it makes a big difference when you have somebody as an accountability partner, because that's what we need. And many of the doctors that I work with, they tell me, Mr. Stroman, we didn't learn this stuff in medical school. We didn't learn, they didn't talk about nutrition. Well, that's the way the system was set up. Is the ladies, you know this already. So we have to re-educate people, unlearn and relearn some things, but we got to do it with love, not beat nobody over the head, to make them aware of. Because I teach generational health. What does that mean? We know about generational wealth, but I believe if we want to be the CEO of our households, we must teach the young people, because they don't know. All they want to know, this stuff tastes good. That's all they know. I like the sugar, I like the salt, it just tastes good. But they don't know there's a reckoning 15, 20, 30 years down the road, okay? So when people say to me sometimes, you know what? All of a sudden they got this health issue. Well, that started a long time ago. Now, here's the good news. It doesn't take as long to turn your health around. Because sometimes people say to me, how long it's going to take when I'm going to talk to you ladies about what we're going to talk about today, how long it's going to take. Now, CC, know I do a little bit of gangster love. My question is, how long did it take you to mess up your health? Now, that makes them calm down a little bit, because it is a process, okay? It don't happen overnight. But if you're patient, in 90 days, it can be turned around. Okay. So I want to set the stage about how all this came about, because we have too many people are suffering unnecessarily. Often say prevention is better than cure, less expensive, and less painful. So I have to use myself as an example. I remember going to the doctor, and it's kind of a funny story. I went to the doctor, they did all the blood work and everything, but at my age, they expected me to be on 3 to 4 or 5 medications. So the doctor's on the computer, and he turned to me and he said, Mr. Stroman, I can't write you no prescriptions. It was almost like he was disappointed. Okay, he couldn't write no prescription. It is amazing what a little knowledge can do for you. Okay, so that's why I teach prevention, because people are leaving here way before their time, and they don't have to. And we can't do anything about those who are not with us, but we can protect and bless the ones that are here. And it starts with education. And that's what I love your platform is about, educating and people, getting people informed, because we have to equip them because they don't know. What the Bible says was destroyed for lack of what? Knowledge. I say the lack of health knowledge. And Isaiah said people are being destroyed because they're captive because they have no knowledge. Now, it's one thing that when you don't know, but it's bad when you don't want to know. Okay? So there's only two things. It's either lack of knowledge or disobedience. Now, again, let me dial it back. It takes time. It took time for me to discipline myself, but I've gotten so good at this deal that I can go to those different places and I'm not tempted like I used to be. But I had to discipline myself and work, because I can do it. Everybody can do it. Okay? Everybody can do it. They just don't exercise, but you have to have a strong enough reason. And one of the things I exercise that I do with people, why do you want to be healthy? I want to do a deep dive, not because I just want to feel good. Okay? Why do you want to be healthy? What does that mean? Complete your assignment? You want to go ahead and build shelters? Do you want to fulfill your assignment that God gave you? You got to have a reason strong enough to do it. If you have a weak reason, it's easy to say, oh, forget about it. Okay, so now let me get into the main topic here. All right, so now back to the story. So when my friend told me about stem cell technology, I woke up 4 o'clock in the morning. Now remember, I was already teaching hydration. And when he told me about it and I started looking at it, I said, oh my God, I understand, God, why you woke me up. Because we want to help millions of people to take back their health. OYH, own your health. And it's going to take a revolution to get it done, to help people all over the country and around the world. And that's why God has put a lot of people around me to help us to do this work. So here we go. I'm going to tell you a little story about stem cells. Okay. So there's a man of God named David Smith. He was hired by the government to create a patch for the Naval SEALs because they were in submarines. Make a long story short, he created this patch, looks like a little Band-Aid. And it was so successful. When he left that contract, he said God downloaded a God idea, told him to go to the Bible to get the codes from the Bible to create a patch for humanity. This way the story gets very interesting. So David Smith took 10 years of research on age reversal, over $4 million. And he broke the code of something that people said you couldn't do. And because of this, right now, on a monthly basis, thousands of people on a monthly basis are getting their health back. Okay, so what is that about? Well, he created a patch called X39. Okay, X39 is a little stem cell patch, but it does a lot. For sake of time, I'm going to give you a few things what it does. But what happens is at age 30, we have stem cells all through our bodies, ladies. We all know that in your brain, your liver, blood, it's all over the place, your whole body. Stem cells are the universal cells to repair in your body. That's the healing part of your body, your stem cells. But many of the doctors that I talked to, they didn't learn about stem cells. It's amazing. But anyway, so at age 30, 50% of your stem cells are dormant. But age 60, it's like 90%. They're just on the beach. They ain't doing nothing for you. But here's the fascinating thing about it. When he discovered this technology, and this technology, this is not medicine. Even the FDA recognized what I'm about to tell you. It's a general wellness product. It's not drugs. Because people say, FDA, this is not a drug. This is technology with nanocrystals in it. And you can check it out when we finish, and with the website, you can do all your due diligence. And so when you put this patch on, what happens is it activates a peptide in your body, and it wakes up your stem cells. Now, your stem cells have their own intelligence. That's the way God made your body to heal itself, okay? And you ladies did a great job talking about what's happening around us. And this is why we need more protection, because we live in such a toxic environment. It's like 36,000 germs out there, right? So we need all the protection that we can get. So back to the topic here. So when you put this patch on, what it does, it creates a frequency, because your body is emitting heat all the time. You're walking around right now, you got light in your body. You just don't see it. But when you put this technology on, it activates the stem cells in your body. Now, these stem cells, they prioritize what needs to be done. Let's say, for an example, your arm might be hurting, okay? Well, if you have problems with your kidney, it'll work on your kidneys first before it goes to your arm. It is an amazing technology. And let me just share this with you about David Smith. He won Inventor of the Year. We're doing what I'm sharing with you ladies right now in 200 countries around the world. The Olympic athletes from Stanford University has used these patches, athletes, all these medical doctors. We got thousands of doctors, did all the research, all the due diligence, universities around the world. All the stuff has been done. And we've been doing this for 21 years. So we have all that covered as far as research is concerned. This is why we have 80 clinical studies about this. And don't worry, I'll give you the information. You can check it out a little closer. This is why matter of fact, I got a doctor who joined me just yesterday, because they understand this is a tool that billions of people need to know about. It's just another tool. You still got to do everything. You still got to have a good attitude. You still got to eat right, drink right, get your sleep. All the things that you ladies are aware of is holistic. This is a tool to take us to another level. So now when you put it on, the best way to describe it is vitamin D. So they say we need vitamin D. So when you go into the sun doesn't give you vitamin D. It creates something in your body to create vitamin D, okay? That's the way this patch works. It creates a frequency, okay? And that frequency, it begins to do all kinds of things. And I'm gonna give you a couple of testimonies here in a minute, okay? But far as the results, my God, I've never seen. I'm gonna give you a couple of examples. We had a pastor who went to the doctor, and his cardiologist told him, and this is one of my pet peeves, I call it words of mass destruction, told this pastor that you got 5 years to live. Now, you know that's crushing when you hear something like that. Well, we put the patch on this pastor, and after a period of time, he went back to the doctor. His heart infraction was like operating very, 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 very low. Well, how about within a month or so, whatever it was, he went back to the cardiologist. His heart is almost back to normal. How can that be? Because of this technology. It's not the patch, it's your stem cells. We're just booting it up, like charging the battery, because all the healer is inside of you. All we're doing is turning it on to do what it's designed to do. So when I finish at the end of my conversation, I'm going to give you probably 6 or 7 or 8 different examples of real life situations. And trust me, we got literally thousands of testimonies in every part of the human body. Okay. But I thought that was very interesting when these doctors tell you that you have a certain amount of time to live. So here's what happens. When you wear this patch, you got to wear it for 12 hours. And you have to drink a lot of water. That's where hydration comes in at. If you're hydrated, the patch is going to work even better. That's why I made that connection 4 o'clock in the morning when God told me to wake up. Hey, you need to put both of these together. You wear it for 12 hours, you take it off and you throw it away. Now, here's the beautiful part about it. And you got to get this, ladies. It's non-transdermal. What does that mean? There's no drugs going in your body. There's no chemicals going in your body. This is not stem cell injections. You got to pay $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 to get an injection, and you got to go out the country in many cases to get it done. It's localized, one area, okay? And it's 50% success rate. What I'm sharing with you ladies, this is not that. Because when we say stem cells, people are thinking about embryos and injections. This is not that. So there's no drugs going in your body. This is why thousands of doctors are using it in their practice. They would not violate their license to take a chance like that. We got too many panels around the country with medical doctors, cardiologists, every profession, scientists using these patches because they've already been proven. Okay, so you wear it for 12 hours, you throw it away after 12 hours, let your body rest and rejuvenate, and you put another patch on. I mean, these doctors are saying, one doctor said, in 40 years, this is the greatest breakthrough he's seen in 40 years. And it's so simple to do. And guess what? How about the guarantee that we've got behind this particular product? Okay, so that's how you wear the patch. Now, a few other things I'd like to mention, and then we can, move forward here. I'm gonna give you a couple of testimonies, and then we can just chat a little bit and see if I can answer any questions. But let me kind of go down what X39 will do. X39, it can reset 4,000 genes. You know how they say you drink 1, 2 genes? How about 4,000? And everything I'm sharing with you is documented. Urine test, blood test, saliva, all has been documented, okay? How about reducing pain? I spoke at a church in South Carolina, and it was like 5 churches together. And I asked the congregation, anybody got any pain? And hands went up. You know those hands went up, right? And they came up in front of the church, and we put the patch on them right then in the church. Within 10, 15 minutes, either the pain subsided 80, 90%, some of it went away all the way. I'm talking about sciatic nerve, knee pain, back pain, gone within 15, 20 minutes. Now, let me balance the statement. Everybody's body is different. That doesn't happen for everybody. We don't know how much damage your body has been through. So I like to let people know we have one patch wonders, and then we have situations where it took a month or 2 months. But here's the challenge that I talk to churches about. The Bible talk about let patience have its perfect work. This is what we have to work on. Okay, it takes patience. Okay, because I don't know, the time frame is different for everybody. But in that church, many of them start getting relief right away. So let me go through this real quick. It reduces pain big time. Inflammation, we all know about inflammation, right? Big time reducing inflammation. And inflammation can create inflammation. It can be dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia. I'm gonna give you a little testimony about that. How about energy? Not that jerky energy like energy drinks. I'm talking about smooth energy. It calms you down. It reduces stress, which is one of the top killers in the world. It supports natural wound healing. We had surgeons who said it normally takes 3 months to heal. It's taken 3 weeks to heal because of X39 and your stem cells being activated. Okay, we're talking about sleeping like a baby. We've actually had people who sleep, they wasn't able to sleep hardly at all. Okay, for 3 years, and they put the patch on there and they're sleeping like a baby. And we all know how important sleep is. How about skin, ladies? How about your skin? 300% increase in your collagen, not your nails, just all of that taking place. But here's the thing about collagen: it's the brick and mortar for your body to keep everything together, your ligaments. That's what collagen is. People here is growing back like crazy, nails, all of that, because of the X39 patch, okay? A biggie with me and other people is this mental clarity. You have a left and right side of your brain. I can tell you from the topographies that we've seen that this one lady is 77 years old, going to the area of mental decline and dementia, and we know how devastating that can be. The first topography shows the red in the brain. After she's been on, I think it's like 3 weeks, the inflammation went away. The second picture showed it was gone. The third, she got her brain back, okay? So when people in mainstream said you can't do anything about dementia and Alzheimer's, I beg to differ. We've seen it, but mainstream's not gonna talk like that. They're gonna say, get your affairs in order, you're done, okay? We got too many stories. So let me kind of go through a laundry list of some things here, and then we can go ahead and proceed and see if anybody have any questions for me. Okay, when you wear the patch for 6 months, again, this is documented. If you wear for 6 months, it reverses the age of your heart by 8 years. Let me say that one more time. We know heart disease, the number one deal. We know that. 6 months of wearing the patch, reverse your heart disease, your heart. 8 years younger, people are getting younger. That's why we call it age reversal, okay? So let me give you a couple examples of some people that I know and people that we've heard from. We had a person who had matter of fact, this person will be on my class of this coming Saturday. 2 strokes, not able to talk, the whole 9 yards. Guess what? We put the patch on him. All the stroke situation that he had is gone away. Had another situation, this doctor said this person had renal failure with 4 of his patients. Y'all know how serious that is, right? Kidneys. Guess what? It was turned around. This is the power of your stem cells. Stem cells are universal cells. They do all of these wonderful things. I'm going to go through this laundry list and I'm going to let you ladies enjoy your evening, okay? One of my friends I know personally, 81 years old, she said, Mr. Stroman, she went to her dentist, but they thought they had to do some dental work. Because she put on the X39, they didn't need to do dental work. Her eyes, to get injections or either get her eyes corrected, she went back to her eye doctor. They didn't need to do that for her eyes. She had diabetes. How about let's took up the diabetes medicine. She had pain in her leg and knee. She had a cane. She don't need the cane anymore. Now we tease her and call her Candy No Cane. It's a little joke that we do, Candy No Cane. But this lady, 81 years, had about 8 things that happened to her because of the stem cells. Now remember, it's holistic. It's not just the patches. You got to do everything. One of the things that I talk about when I'm talking to church is that no matter how many vegetables you eat, water you drink, exercise, even put the patches on, I'm really big on your spiritual arteries. If you have unforgiveness, jealousy, backbiting, evil speaking, strife, that can be devastating to your health because there's no instrument to measure your spirituality when you go to a doctor. Okay, so I'm really big on making sure your spiritual life is intact because to me, that's the most important thing because you can do all these things, but if you got those spiritual arteries clogged up, you can have some issues. Back to some of these examples here. So we had a person with a spine problem that was corrected. We had people with A1C problems. That was corrected. Hot flashes. That was corrected. Okay, blood pressure, big time. PTSD. I'm a veteran. Well, this young man had surgery on his back, his arm, his neck, sleeping 2 hours. He had PTSD. This is a one-patch wonder. The bishop put the patch on him. How about in one day, PTSD went away. Now he's sleeping 8 or 9 hours. All this pain that he went to John Hopkins, all these experts taken care of because of stem cells being activated. Okay. One of the biggest things I love about this passage is the stress reduction because stress is literally killing people, unfortunately. How about depression being turned around, your moods being affected? People are talking about that as a result of the stem cell patch and what's happening with them. Okay. So there's so many areas of the body. I can name everything just for sake of time, from the top of your head to the sole of your feet. Every part of the body, we've heard testimonies from every organ in your body, liver, kidney, pancreas. I can go on and on and on. But I'm going to give you a website so you guys can take your time and look at it. And if you look at this website, you can scroll down and you'll see the doctor's panel and you can see all the information, the clinical research, all that's right there. So let me give you this website because I want to respect your ladies' time. And I'm so thankful that you guys had a chance for me, allow me to share a little bit about what we're doing around the world. So our goal right now is to help 1 billion households worldwide, and we're well on our way. So remember, I didn't even tell you about this. We won the Biotech Award. Do you know what that means? The Biotech Award is countries all over the world trying to get this award. LifeWave just won that award, the Biotech Award. That says something. So we've been doing this for 21 years. So this is the website you guys can look at, ladies. This is itinfo.com. I'll repeat it. This is itinfo.com. You can watch the short videos. We'll explain the technology. You scroll down, you'll see the clinical studies, you'll see the doctors, you'll see NFL players. On that one site, you'll see all the information that you need on that particular site. So with that being said, I hope I didn't go over the time because I don't know how much time I had, but hopefully I enlighten you to either look into it a little bit and see what this can do to help to bless people all over the world, because it's not an America thing. Our goal is to help people around the world with this movement called stem cell technology with Lifeway International. Okay, Sunshine, I am finished.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Wow. You made our jobs easier because usually we ask follow-up questions, but we didn't have to do none of that. Nadine or Cece, did y'all have any follow-up questions for Dr. Stroman?
Yeah, so I'll just ask one question because, like you said, he covered a lot of things, and I was trying to do research while he was talking. But that was a lot to digest. I mean, that was a lot of information. So I wanted to ask, how does proper hydration truly impact long-term health and chronic disease?
Well, let's go back to the biologist, right? When God made our body, what he made it for water, right? Okay. And 90% of Americans, I'm glad you asked the question, 90% of Americans are clinically dehydrated and they don't even know it. See, we think dehydration happens when you get thirsty. No, it starts a long time before that. And I did a demonstration at a church recently and showed about what happens. If I can talk about sodas for a second, I'm still talking about hydration. Well, every organ in your body, if you want your blood, the Bible said the life is in the blood, right? Your body, 70%, you got water, you got your brain, every part of your body need to be hydrated. And that's when you go to the doctor, they hydrate you right away, right? So America is lacking. And ladies, let me just give you a little tip on this. Diet soda. Now, I believe in moderation, so I forgot to say that in the beginning of my conversation. You don't have to be perfect, okay, everybody? You don't have to be perfect. But diet soda is not good for your billion-dollar temple ladies. Think about it. Countries will not allow you to sell diet soda in their countries. Aspartame. Why is that? And I think you ladies know why. And I did a demonstration with this little, you can't see it right now, and I took this little sachet in this bottle that I have in my water. And what I did was I opened it up and I had a 2-liter bottle of soda and I poured it in there. And guess what happened? It erupted like a volcano. And what it shows how much acid that soda does to your body. And that's why many women experience osteoporosis. So I'm not saying not to drink it, but just to make you aware of it, hydration is critical for see, hydration, not only for your body, but even when you take medication, it's going to work better. If you take supplements, it's going to work better. We just don't drink enough water. And one of the reasons why, because they say, Dr. Stroman, I don't like water. Now, sometimes I do a little bit of gangster love, okay? So I say, water lacks you. Let's use some wisdom, okay? Water lacks you, okay? Because I know these sodas, you can take a soda and they'll clean off the battery cable. Cops can use it to clean up blood on the highway. But we putting that soda in this billion-dollar temple. Now, that's a tough deal because I know sodas are dominating our society, but you can drink it in moderation if you choose to do so. But hydration, my friend, is critical. And I believe we can cut down a lot of Alzheimer's and dementia just because of that, just drinking more water. So autism, bipolar, schizophrenia, all these different mental situations, if people drink enough water, it can make a big difference as far as the outcome of their health. I actually have a demo for that. You're welcome. You're welcome. There's a demo that I can share with you to show you how that water works. Would you like me to share that with you? Okay. So if you go to www.zooma, let me spell that for you. XOOMA Pro, Zooma Pro, XOOMAPro.com. You can skip that first video. And what I share with you about this little X2O, this little sachet, it'll show you the demonstration right there, what this water is doing. Remember, we had a lady that had brain surgery. She went to all these doctors, and she had headaches for 40 years. And she drank this water. Guess what? She never had another headache. And I've been teaching that for 13 years. But anyway, that website will give you some more information about X2O.
I get headaches.
Great question.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Cece, did you have a follow-up question for Dr. Stroman?
you were talking about changing, mindsets of people and things like that, and you talked about discipline. What are some strategies that you can share with people, like to help them become more disciplined, right? So they can kind of get on the right path and take in charge of their health.
That's a great question, CC. That's why I like to interview people. And I use this example here, CC. I talk to people in this frame. You count the cost and you count the benefit. What is the cost if you're not disciplined? And I actually have people go through an exercise. If you're not disciplined, it can be arthritis, it can be heart disease, it can be, you write down, and I get them to get a piece of paper right down the middle, count the cost if you're not disciplined. And when you look at that list and you see 15 things, and then on the right side, the benefits if you're disciplined. And of course, it's the opposite. What do you want, the left or the right side? Now, also too, we have to get angry. We're not angry enough, right? What the system is doing, because anger could be a big motivation, okay? So when you're angry enough, knowing what the system is doing, it motivates you to be disciplined. Oh no, they're not doing this to my child, that kind of deal. And it motivates them. So I believe that people have enough, they have to have a strong reason. If they don't have a strong reason, they'll be like 90% of people just go by the wayside. But when you give people a reason why, and you let them know what the system is doing, and I go a little deeper. How about your kids, your grandkids, your niece and nephews? How about them? Who's going to educate them? So I give them a big reason why they want to be disciplined. Once you get enough reasons to do it, then self-discipline is self-governing. And now you're angry at what the system is doing to you. And guess what? Discipline will kick in. But at the same time, like I mentioned earlier, if you need an accountability partner, we are available.
Excellent. I love that, because people do need that, and the accountability partners do make life a lot easier. Final question. So you're on the patch, you're doing well, and then say like you stop taking the patch, right? Then what happens?
Okay, that's a good question, CC. Okay, now here's my take. Okay, this is Mr. Stroman. My stem cells, let me just say this real quick. My stem cells, okay, I feel 25 years younger, okay? Based on my age, I'm 25 years younger, right? My biological is a little different because of the things that I've done. Now, health is an investment. You agree with that? Now, health is an investment. You know what? Interesting about human beings, they spend money on what they want to spend money on, right? Now, I don't want my stem cells to go back to sleep. And a lady recently said that CC. She said she had the patch and she had 5 things happen to her, and obviously she stopped doing it. Then all of a sudden some things begin to come back to her body. It's a choice, but we got people been on these patches for 20 years because they value their $1 billion temple. It's not a contract, but to me, the greatest investment is not the stock market. It's taking care of this $1 billion temple, okay? So my thing is, I'm a lifer, and we got thousands of people worldwide that are lifers because we know the result. I don't want my stem cells going back to sleep. I am too happy for that. Okay, so that's my take on SEC. I will never stop using these patches.
That is awesome. Thank you. Like, this has been amazing. And I feel like we need to bring you back for part 2 because there's so many questions that I want to ask you, but for the sake of time, I'm going to reserve them. Hopefully we'll be able to get a part 2 with you, right? But my question that I have here is, how can viewers start partnering with you or learning more about your work, or if they want to reach out to you, how can they reach out to you and start working with you?
Okay, sure. I'll be happy to give my information because I do a lot of seminars and I'm actually doing a class Saturday. So I'm going to give you my cell number and my email. Since you guys know CC, I'm going to give out all my personal information. Okay. Okay. So my cell number is 678-907-3135, 678-907-3135. And my email address is stromanmission@gmail.com. That's stromanmission@gmail.com. And I'm doing seminars all over the country, workshops all over the country, just all over the place. Our goal is 500 churches and corporations, organizations. So they bring me in to have these nice conversations about the success triangle. But anytime you need to reach out to me, any friend of CC is a friend of mine.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. This has been another amazing segment. We're going to transition over into our last minute words, where this is an opportunity for each of us to say a quote, a paragraph, final thoughts, final words, remind people where they can find you, follow you, etc. Whatever comes to your heart, whatever God downloads in your spirit and in your heart to say at that moment. So to get a glimpse of how that looks, we're going to have Nadine start us off, followed by Cece, Dr. Stroman, you'll go third, and I'll go last with the remaining sponsors.
Yeah, so as you guys know, that my name is Nadine Barton, as you see here on the screen on Facebook, same name, Nadine Barton. And you could also find me on Instagram, Nadia B, as you see on the screen, NADIAB, NADIAB_1202. And also, if you'd like to check out some of my books, you could visit my website, nadinebarton.com. And also, my books are also on Amazon. And also, if some of you guys may or may not know, I also have my gratitude journal on the Harvard Library. So if you go to harvard.com, you'll see my 80 ways of how you can, have a positive day. But like I always say, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you react. So treat people kind and you'll get kindness in return.
Beautiful.
I love it. Absolutely. Dr. Stroman, simply a pleasure having you on tonight. This has been so enlightening. And I've been on some of your the calls and things like that, just educating our communities. And so the work and the purpose and the passion that God has put in your heart to bring forth these missions, I want to say I am eternally grateful. So, hey, I'm your girl, Sandra, the Actions with Inspire for Purpose. And you can find me at inspireforpurpose.com or girlswithgigs.com. I always love to say, remember, nothing positive ever came from negative thinking. And as I always love to say, love and light and inspire for purpose.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Dr. Stroman, spotlight is on you.
Oh, okay. Well, very quickly, first of all, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to be with you, ladies. And I'll leave these two things with you. The biggest nation is procrastination, and procrastination is the assassination of your health destination. Okay? So I believe in living long and living strong. Thank you so much, ladies.
I love that. Thank you. Wow, mi gente, we had another amazing episode, otro episodio with so much heavy impact. And I love Hoy en Día. Each and every week is just never fails to amaze me. Just the amazing people that God brings to us, and especially having Nadine and Cece as my amazing co-hosts is just truly a blessing. And for you all being your supporters, viewers, and listeners, thank you. Thank you for always being here with us, always sharing and commenting and just everything that you all do. Gracias from the bottom of our hearts, for real. And for those who want to find me and follow me, you can just simply go on Google, type in Yessie Rodriguez, and voila, my social medias pull up. Website pulls up. If you want to be a guest on Hoy en Día TV, you can simply email us at hoyendiatv@gmail.com, which is the email scrolling at the bottom of the page. Or if you want to sponsor or donate to Hoy en Día, hey, we are here to welcome it all, right? Also, for those, we're going to spotlight two more sponsors before I say my last minute quote. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back with Hoy en Día TV.
Sponsored by Divine Beauty and Accessories. Watch Hoy en Día TV, Thursdays, 7:30 p.m.
Sponsored by Collective Wear. Available at www.yessierodriguez.com/shop and myrod-enterprise.com/shop.
All right, mi gente. Well, this is the end of our segment, but thank you again for tuning in. Gracias por su apoyo. We are here live again at 7:30 p.m. next Thursday, and also catch reruns Sundays, 7:30 p.m. And like I always say, the sky is never the limit because the galaxies are endless. So thank you for your tuning into Hoy en Día TV. Until next time, see you next time.